I'm letting people in. Let me know when you guys can hear me. I am on the freeway. We're live from the 215. Seatbelt and all. Can you guys hear me
yet? I can hear you.
I can hear you.
I'm live on the freeway. Sorry. So today there's a couple of things I want to talk about. And I'm going to let you guys talk, pick my brain, all that kind of good stuff. But we have July 7th or July 1st coming up very quickly. And the reason I say that is today's May 1st. Okay, so we're talking about 60 days. In the next 60 days, let me rephrase that. In the next 61 days, you will only be allowed to ask for 1 month's rent as a maximum security deposit. Please keep that in mind, especially if you have vacants right now. We want to make sure that we are doing everything we can to protect our own assets to the best of our ability, even though the laws and rules are changing around us ever so quickly. So keep that in mind, please. That deadline is coming up very quickly, and I don't want those of us that are actively renting right now to miss it, for lack of a better way to explain. Okay, so that's my big thing today is we are 61 days away from a maximum of 1 month's rent as a security deposit. And I've had a very bad day, just so you know. So I don't look so great today, and that's okay, because I still like you guys. All right, anybody have questions? Let's hear what you
got. So Patty, I'm the one that texted you early on in the week in regards to the water sub-meter and the division of that cost. I don't know if you recall that text. Okay, so and I could just give a briefing. I know there's a couple of people on the line here. So I have a fourplex, and that fourplex is not evenly divided. It does not have 1 meter. I'm sorry, excuse me. It has 1 meter. It does not have 4 individual meters. Okay, so we purchased it that way. We didn't want to spend the money and divide up the meter. So we have 1 meter. 2 of them are studios, and the other 2 are 2 bedrooms. But the bottom one's square footage is a lot bigger than the other 2 bedrooms. So what we did was based off the number of people in the unit, we kind of divided it up, kind of like the average monthly cost of the utility. And just to let you know, it doesn't even cover the utilities. We actually pay out more. Okay, so and so one of the tenants had stated, hey, we did an increase last year of 2023. That was the other issue, right? I had a management company do this last year. I terminated them about 3-4 months ago because they were not doing a good job. So now I have this issue where I did the increase in rent in 2023, which was 10%. I believe we were okay to do the maximum allowed in 2023 for 10%. Is that correct, Patty?
In what city?
Long Beach.
No, that is not correct.
No, okay.
No, you're under statewide rent control. LA County is 8.6%.
But even in 2023, I mean, my property management company did this. I mean, I didn't do it.
State of California passed rent control in January of 2020.
2020, okay.
So you couldn't do any increases in 2020 because of COVID. You couldn't do any increases in 2021 because of COVID.
Correct.
You couldn't do any increases in 2022 because of COVID. And it wasn't until 2023 April that you could do an increase.
Correct.
And at that point, you were governed at 8.6%.
Okay, 8.8%. So my management company
8.6.
8.6. Okay. So management company had done this. So now what? Now they've
You're
been
gonna,
paying, yeah.
you're gonna have to reverse the increase. You have to undo what they did. And I'd like to see how they increased the utility payment, because if they didn't do it properly, it's also gonna come in as an illegal rent increase. You're gonna have to reverse that as well.
Okay, so ordinarily, how do you sub, and I'm going back to the meter situation. I understand the rent, the previous management company was wrong, and I don't know if they have any liability to it. Do they have any liability to this by doing this wrong?
I gotta be very careful what I say to you there.
Okay, okay,
Liability is a very broad term. Responsibility, also check that box. Again, I'd have to see the rent increase. I'd have to see your lease contract, and I want to see that utility increase so that I know what we need to undo to fix you and bring you where you need to be. As far as the utility billing, we use the RUB system. It's called the ratio utility billing system. And you take the 1 meter bill and you divide it by 5. Why, Patty? You have 4 units, but you as a landlord count as 1 because you have to keep water in the common area, you have to keep the grass green, you have to keep the lights on, yada yada. So you as the landlord in a 4-unit complex need to be responsible for the common area. So you then take that 1 utility bill, divide it by 5, and that's what it is.
even though, is that a standard, is that a good practice, or is that a rule? Because there is no grass, by the way.
There
Uh,
is no what?
There is no grass, there's no landscaping.
Okay, but let me ask more questions then. Do you have laundry facilities on the property?
We do, and they use the meter, and they pay, they have quarters, they put the quarters and they wash, yes.
And that's why you have to pay for the water.
Okay,
Isn't
right.
it easier, Patty, for her
And
just to sign up with Livable and let them do it all?
exactly, but I didn't get that far yet, Arlene.
Okay.
You can do the same thing with your electric bill, your water bill, your trash bill, your sewer bill.
You can also
And
do
as
pest
as-
control and gardener too, and
and
alarm.
as Arlene is suggesting, you can contact a company called Livable. Your
Livable?
bill livable.
Uh-huh.
And what they do is they calculate all of that for you, bill your tenants, collect the funds, and then pay you for it. Correct, Darlene?
Correct, it's great.
And they charge a minimal amount. I think they charge the tenant like $5 a month for doing it, and they keep that portion. And I don't know what it costs you to have the service, but it's worth every penny because you don't have to calculate this.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they have all the contracts, they get in touch with the tenants.
They give them the change of
They-
terms,
they
they
do-
do it all.
They do it all. It's really easy to deal with. And you just get the money in your account each month.
And a majority are Spanish speaking,
They're
so
bilingual.
bilingual, they'll do this. So you mentioned pest control. What else was that? Because I never knew about the pest control. What else can we divide up with the expense?
For the
iPad,
common
yeah,
water,
water, yeah.
water, trash, sewer, electric, gas, gardening
Yeah,
expenses.
I put landscaping, I put through pest control, and I put through the alarm system.
And the alarm system?
And in all fairness, if you wanted to offer Wi-Fi, which I do not suggest,
Yeah,
okay?
no, I don't.
But you could do it that way also. Any utility you're providing the tenant.
Okay.
There's a lane closure ahead.
Sorry, you guys. Huge car accident and I'm being diverted, so I can't even get home. What do we do now? Get back on the freeway and I gotcha. Sorry. All right, do we have more questions? Did I lose everybody?
No, I'm
Okay.
here. I mean, I'm
Okay.
still taking
I-
in everything you're telling me about the water meter.
It's okay. We're all here to help you. You're not alone. But like Arlene was saying, Livable is a great resource for you because you basically call them, tell them what you want to do. They help you implement it. They contact the tenants. They help them with the contracts. They get all your ducks in a row for you, and they make your life much easier when it comes to all of the utility processing. And then, in all fairness, you guys said that you're paying the difference, and it's a lot. If you just are cut in as one portion, it makes more sense.
Say that last sentence again, Patty.
It just makes things more easier for you. It just makes more sense.
Yeah. Patty, let me ask you a question. How do they do it if it's okay? So it's a 4-unit. I divide whatever the bill is. Let's say it's $1,000, which it's not. It's a lot more than that. But anyway, it's $1,000. I divide it by 5, even though it's 4 units. But how do I determine how much for each unit if the square footage is?
That's where Livable comes in and helps you. Because you can play that game by unit, by people, by square footage. Let Livable calculate that the best way that they can and stay within the limits of the law so you don't make a mistake.
Okay.
That's
All right.
the easiest way I could explain it, okay?
Yeah.
As long as you as the landlord are cut in as a portion because of the common area issues, you're covered. So, and they know exactly what they're doing. They usually break it down by unit, not by people, not by square footage and so forth. And then it's just change the terms to the tenant. And if you would be so kind and email me over a copy of your utility increase, your rent increase, and your contract, I'll help you figure out what we need to do to fix it.
Okay. I gotta tell you, Patty, I don't know, also when in 2023, when we did the rent increase, the management company says, yes, you want to do the rent increase because now that COVID's over, you can, and you want to do it, and we did it. He has showed me something that's at 10% was allowable. So that's
In
why
what
I'm
year?
kind of shocked about that.
In 23,
In 23.
it was for the state, but not for the county of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So AB 1482 statewide rent control is what stopped you from doing 10%.
And that took effect in January 2020.
January 20, we were hit with AB 1482, which is statewide rent control. Anybody else have questions? Or do you have more?
No, I'm still taking it in. Okay, I do. Here, I got a question. One more question for me, at least. So I have to fumigate the building. Okay, how do I go about doing that? And so forth. Maybe you could just start with that versus my question.
Well, do you have a periodic pest control addendum on file?
Periodic. And they do it pretty much every 3 months. So
Periodically. It's not on a schedule, it's periodically. So you want a periodic pest control disclosure to put on file with all your tenants, letting them know from time to time you hire a professional that does this pest control, and as it's needed, you will have them at the property. AGLA or your apartment association should have a disclosure for you for that.
in the disclosure is for fumigation?
Correct. Periodic pest control is what you want, done by a professional, not by the landlord.
Oh, yeah, of course. Okay, but what's the process like? How many day notice do I give them? What information do I, the whole process?
24-hour notice, necessary agreed upon repairs. You're letting them know when they're coming. They usually welcome them. They don't turn them away. And you go in and do what needs to be done. If they don't let,
Yes, I'm so sorry. Let me rephrase what I said. Fumigate as in termite tent.
oh, you're gonna have to put them in a hotel.
Okay, so how much notice do I give? Still 24-hour notice?
You're gonna wanna give them more notice than that.
Obviously,
I'd start
yeah.
sending them a letter now, telling them that in the next few months, you plan on tenting the property for termite fumigation. During this time period, they won't be able to stay at the property and you'll be temporarily relocating them in reasonable accommodations.
Okay,
Sorry, I know it's a lot.
so reasonable accommodation. So what is reasonable accommodation? In regards. Mhm.
Reasonable accommodations is what the law says you have to provide. So like for like. So if they're getting put up for 1 or 2 nights, you can put them in a hotel, 5 nights in a hotel. That's a reasonable accommodation. What city did you say it was in?
Long Beach.
So you would have to credit them 1/30th of the daily rent as a rent credit and put them in a hotel because you're not providing them housing.
But I'm paying for the hotel though. Right?
I understand, but reasonable accommodations are, you're displacing them. So you can't charge them rent and you put them in a hotel.
Okay, so if the fumigation is just 1 day, how many days would I need to board them for?
One,
Just 1 day, okay.
if they're coming in and spraying and they have to be gone for 4 hours, you're not boarding them at all. You're just giving them a rent credit for the inconvenience.
For 1 day, Patty.
Right, but are we talking one night?
Yeah, 1 night. It's probably gonna be 1 night
You're putting them in a hotel and giving them a rent credit. And if
for
they
that
ask,
1 day.
if they ask for a food budget, you have to give them that too. It's $15 per person per meal per day, including infants.
Yeah, if they ask, or do I do it?
If they ask. Here, I don't want to freak you out, but reasonable accommodations means you're giving them a food allowance, you're giving them a clothing allowance, meaning if they give you a receipt for dry cleaning while they were put out of your house, their house, you have to pay it.
Mhm.
So food, dry cleaning. Think of it this way. If you were put out of your house, she's flipping you off. Sorry, road rage. Yeah, yes, you did. There well, she was pointing her finger at you, sir. Sorry, I have a chauffeur today.
Oh, I'm glad you're not driving. I
Oh,
thought
no.
you were doing this and driving. I'm like, that's not very safe. Okay,
Hey,
okay,
call me
so
autopilot.
is dry cleaning for if they're in a hotel for the hotel's dry cleaning, or how can I say this? What about the cleaning after the fumigation? Am I responsible for the cleaning inside?
Why would there be cleaning after fumigation?
It's chemicals. I don't know. No, it's fine. Okay.
Don't overthink it.
Okay.
Have you talked to the pest control company about the requirements for the fumigation? Because they may spray for 1 day and want the people out for 3. So it's definitely something you need to know.
Yeah. That's definitely part of it. Yeah. Okay.
And you have to turn off the gas too.
Yep.
Say that again?
Sometimes you have to have the gas shut off. Sometimes they have to remove all food items from the property. Sometimes there's a lot of prep involved depending on what they're fumigating for.
Termites.
they're gonna have to remove the food. You're probably gonna have the gas line shut off because the chemicals they spray in that house are flammable.
Yeah, you got any more good news? Okay, so the food that they have to remove, do I have to replace it or anything?
No.
Okay, okay.
Or
I
they
don't
have to seal it up in a tote. This is all things your exterminator is going to tell you. And they should provide a letter to the tenant of what they have to do to prepare their unit.
Okay.
And if they don't prepare their unit as directed, you need to contact a legal counsel. In other words, there's process and procedure you follow as far as serving notices in order to force them to prepare their unit for fumigation or evict them for not complying.
Yeah, got it.
Can I just sit in your car until we're done? Okay, thanks. Don't set the alarm. Don't set the alarm. I don't want to be locked in here.
So are these calls every Wednesday at 7 o'clock? And then I just joined, obviously. And for 30 minutes, an hour, what is it? And
About an hour, as long as people need to pick my brain. And we occasionally do an evening. This is usually Wednesdays at noon. Sometimes
okay.
I'm a little bit late in case I have an AGLO webinar. So sometimes it carries over a bit. But I very rarely do them at 7 p.m. I'm trying to add one in a month now because we have more people that can only attend in the evenings.
Got it.
So I'm trying to help everybody.
You know, and here's another thing, the occupant downstairs who we signed the lease originally years ago for 5 people, they increased occupancy by a lot. I mean, a lot. Based off the number of beds we saw. So I know that I cannot evict them based off the occupancy. And now I'm only allowed the 8.8 increase.
8.6.
8.6, sorry. 8.6
Okay,
increase.
I wanna make sure you have the right number.
Yeah. So 8.6 increase. And now I can't do the occupancy increase at all. It's just the maximum 8.6. Is that right?
That is correct. An occupancy, additional expense for additional occupants is actually an illegal rent increase.
Yeah. So, and this is why my water usage, electric, gas, everything has increased in the
Understand why I said
complex.
split it with 4, split it with 5, depending, but
Yeah.
Livable will help you figure that out. And the tenants will start complaining that all this is going on. And there's various things you can do to enforce the occupancy limit, but it's going to be difficult for tenants that are already established.
Yeah, they're established.
So let me say this out loud for everybody else. In order for you to enforce an occupancy limit, it must be in your criteria and in your lease contract. He notes, if you have a studio and you only want one tenant in that studio, do not use the word single. Maximum occupancy is for single persons only. Big no-no. Let me explain why. I just said single. Am I referring to one or marital status? You tell me. Oh, because they're going to say that means marital status and you just discriminated. So we're not going to use the word single in anything we do. Okay? We are going to use maximum occupancy, one persons. We did not define children. We did not define adults. They are persons, and we may allow 2 persons. We may allow 4 persons as a maximum occupancy. Whatever it is you want to do has to be in your criteria and in your lease contract to be enforceable. Here comes the next caveat, so be prepared. If you do not have this in both your criteria and in your lease contract, then the maximum occupancy falls under California State Building Code, and it's 9 persons for every 690 square feet.
Can you repeat that? You said 9 people for every 600 square feet?
Every 690 square feet. Are you throwing up in your mouth?
Yeah, my lunch just went up.
Yeah.
Can
9.
you say it again, Patty? Oh my God.
Okay,
Say-
everybody listen, okay? To enforce a maximum occupancy limit, it must be in your criteria. So when you give them their application to rent and say you want to rent from me and these are the rules or this is what I expect, it has to be on there and it has to be in your lease contract. If it is not, we have an industry standard of 2+1, but that is not the law. The law says in the state of California, there can be 9 people for every 690 square feet. 9 people in a studio. You know damn well they're going to put dressers up against the windows because there isn't going to be enough space, and it creates a safety issue. How are they going to get out if there's a fire? Are people going to step on people trying to get out in the event of an earthquake? It creates a problem. I like that. How many people
Come up
said
with that because of prison?
Arlene,
It's
I
like
love
76, it's like 76 square feet a person.
just think about that when you walk into your closet, and I'm not talking about a walk-in closet. I'm talking about one where you slide the door open, okay? What if that was your bedroom? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
So
I'm
what
sure.
if that's the scenario? That's, for example, the example I gave you, they increase the occupancy, and for every 9 people, 690 square feet, it does not meet that criteria. What do? I can't evict them because of occupancy. What's my?
Well, you may possibly be able to evict for occupancy depending on how your lease term's written, depending on what's going on. There's a lot of caveats we can play around with, and I have to be careful what I say because remember all this, you guys. I'm a lot of things, but I am not an attorney and I cannot give you legal advice. I can give you operational advice. I can give you process and procedure. I use a lot of legal terms because I do work at a law firm, but I am not an attorney. The chances of you being able to evict for unauthorized occupants are very high.
Okay.
Again, I need to see your contract. I need to see your rent increases. Because I'll tell you this right now, before you poke anybody in the eye, you want to remove all those illegal rent increases and make sure they're credited accordingly. Make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah,
Okay.
makes sense.
Because you do not want to poke them in the eye while you're holding the bank funds, if you will. You just robbed a bank and you're holding the bag of money and you poke them in the eye. What do you think's gonna happen?
Yeah. Is there a statute of limitation of like time frame? Come back.
Under LA County law, it is, and I laughed my butt off at this when they made it a law in January, because we have been doing this for decades. It's good ethics, okay? As soon as overage is found or illegal increase is found, the process and procedure is to immediately credit the tenant's ledger or send them a check. You pick.
Mhm.
And if you pick sending them a check, get out of my classroom.
Oh, so don't send them a check. Okay.
Oh no, we're going to give them a credit on their ledger.
And when you say credit on the ledger, you mean, well, it's just if they owe $800, if they have a $200 credit, just tell them to
Now
pay
they owe you
$600.
$600.
Send them a statement like that. Okay.
Right. Or there's a few things you can do. You can send them a statement, let them know that you found an overage and that rent increase wasn't legal and you've rescinded the rent increase and credited their ledger accordingly. There's a lot of verbiage that goes in with that, but let's get that far before we start spinning that wheel. Fair enough?
Well, I don't want to, yeah, I don't want to say illegal to them, but it'll be alarming.
Well, no, what we say is, after review of your account, it appears that there is some overages. Your rent currently is this amount, which is going to be the reduced amount. And you have a credit for overages on your ledger in the amount of this. A lot of times when landlords get to the point where they're ready to do an eviction, that's when we see, because I work at a law firm, that's when we see the illegal rent increases and we immediately have to tell them, whoa, you need to rescind the rent increase, credit the ledger accordingly, see how much the tenant owes now. They may still have a credit. I have an owner right now that has a credit of $3,400 on the tenant's ledger still from improper increases that have now been credited. So she was ready to do an eviction. The tenant was 3 months behind, but not anymore. The tenant has a credit for the next 2 months still before she can start the eviction. And it's just your attorney's way of keeping you out of an orange jumpsuit.
Well, I mean, I'm not the one that did the increase illegally. It was the management company.
I understand, but please know this, they're your employee and you're still responsible.
So they're not responsible?
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. What I
Wow.
said was they are your employee and the landlord is always the one that's ultimately responsible.
So I cannot go in and recoup some of this through him either.
I didn't say that. What I said is it's your job to fix it. If you want to sue your management company for what they did, that's a different set of facts.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah, I've learned hire a good management company.
Well, people ask me all the time and I tell them, if you want to hire a management company, let me know. I have certain questions I want you to ask them to help protect you.
Yeah.
Like, are you an agent working under a broker? When's the last time you took a fair housing course? Who keeps the late fees? When will I get payment? Will you represent me in court? I got questions, but that's questions you need to be asking the management company you're screening.
Okay. I have a lot to work on. Thank
Hey,
you, Patty. I appreciate it.
Don't think that you have a lot to work on all by yourself. We're all here to help you, okay? You're not alone.
Patty,
Thank
quick
you.
question. Why did you say it was wrong to just write them a check as opposed to crediting their ledger?
I didn't say it was wrong.
Okay, get out of the class.
I never want to give my tenant money. I want to credit their ledger so that if they don't pay me the rent, I'm just serving them a notice for the balance of their credit. If I give them a check, that money's gone and I'm not in control of it anymore. Make
Okay,
sense?
yeah,
Make sense? Okay.
yeah.
Especially if you're especially if you're dealing with a tenant you want to evict for non-payment of rent. You don't want to turn around and cut him a check and then serve him a 3-day. He's just going to give you the check back.
A couple of years ago when I was doing, getting for city of Inglewood, I was paying the fees, the yearly fees, not the registration, but the, what is it, DCBA, or I think is that what it's called?
CBA, that's the Department of Business Affairs and Consumer
Yeah.
Department of, yeah.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, I was, you know, you have to send in the information and blah, blah, and at that moment, I realized, oh, they told me that I had done an illegal rent increase. in 2019. I guess there was a law that passed in 2019 for Inglewood, and I was off by like 3 weeks. So I had to give them the money back, and I did, but I just wrote them all a check and sent, you know, I wrote them a letter explaining the situation, and then I wrote them a check giving the money back.
And you do have the opportunity to do that. And in some instances, I will tell you, if that's what you choose to do it. I mean,
Mhm.
if you have the ideal tenant and all your ducks are in a row and there's no problem with rent paying, but from my standpoint, most of the time when owners are coming to me with this problem, it's they haven't paid rent in 4 months.
Yeah, exactly.
So forgive me, but I don't want to cut them a check. If I'm going to turn around and give them a 3-day, they're just going to give me the check back and we're going to play teeter totter.
Yeah, that
I'd
makes a lot of sense.
I'd rather credit them.
That
Make
makes a lot of
sense?
sense. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
And your attorney's probably going to tell you to do the same. Otherwise, you're just going to teeter totter for a few months until you actually get where you need to be. Time and money, two most expensive things in this industry, and I don't like to spend either. So that's how you avoid that problem.
Yeah. Okay. Let me quickly take this opportunity since I have your ear and ask you a question.
I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you proceed with Jonathan?
Yes, I did.
Okay, that's enough. That's enough. That's all I needed. Okay, now what's your question?
Okay. There is a tenant that I have in the city of Huntington Park. And she called me about a week ago and said, like, you know, she didn't want to live there anymore and she was leaving. By the end, I mean, it was basically giving me a week's notice. And I'm meeting her on Friday to do the walkthrough. She's gonna give me the keys back, even though she already moved out, but she just hasn't given me the keys, and she said she could meet me on Friday. So I'm gonna do a walkthrough with her and do what I didn't give her the right to do the thing, because I didn't even know that she basically said, I'm leaving. Go ahead. I know you. I'm quiet. What?
There are 3 times you do not have to give a right to an initial inspection. Eviction, abandonment, surrender. When did she give you a 30-day?
Never.
Okay, so I'm asking a question. Heed my knowledge. When she gives you the keys, are you going to charge her 30 days of rent for failing to give you a 30-day notice?
No, but we're gonna keep her deposit. No?
The only way you can keep her deposit is if you charge her that rent.
Right.
So the answer to the question was yes.
Okay.
You can't just keep a deposit. It doesn't work that way. You have
Uh-huh.
to allocate it.
Right.
So
Okay.
you're charging her 30 days of rent for failing to give you a 30-day notice as per your written contract and deducting it from her security deposit.
Plus any other damage that's at the property.
Absolutely.
Okay. And
But what
so,
I was trying to put in your head is she didn't give you a 30-day. Why would you give her a notice of a right to have an initial inspection?
okay, but I still have to give her an allocation of her security deposit once she leaves, right?
By day 21, it must be postmarked. Absolutely.
Okay, so when we do the walkthrough and I get the keys, just get her forwarding address and then on the allocation, just bill her the 30 days.
Well, you're going to have to do an estimated disposition of security deposit. You're not going to be able to do a final.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know why?
No.
If you re-rent that property within that 30 days, she doesn't owe 30 days of rent.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right, okay.
So you're going to have to do an estimated and then a final later.
Okay. Okay, that was my first question, and my second question is.
This one's going to cost you $1.
I know. My second question is because I do have it on my on where I announce what my what is the word I'm looking for? My goodness,
Criteria.
it's my criteria. Thank you. On my criteria, it does have the standard, industry standard of, 2+1. I do
What
have,
does it say? Maximum occupancy is 2 per bedroom plus 1 on the couch?
yeah, well, it doesn't say one on the couch, but it does say two. It says, it's verbatim, the one that you sent us as a,
Okay, okay. You
yeah,
use my template. I
Yeah.
got you.
yeah,
Okay.
it's verbatim. And so I do have that, and moving forward, like since doing that, I'm starting to use the car leases, which I'm still like learning on how to use it. But for all the people that have rented in the past, is there any way to do anything like to give some sort of a change in terms or anything like that? No, okay.
Because they have to see it on their criteria when they moved in. It has to
Okay.
be in both those places. So I'm gonna have to ask an attorney.
Got it.
Does
Okay.
that make sense?
Yeah,
I was trained one way. I keep that in my head if that's the way. So I don't know if a change of terms would do it. I want to say no, because it could be considered bait and switch, especially if you then turn around and evict them because they're over occupancy.
yeah. Okay.
Make sense? Make sense?
Yes, and the criteria that I have is only on my website because that's where I send everybody to the website. They apply through the website. They see the available units that I have through the website. And that I don't have my criteria on paper anywhere. Is that a problem?
Okay. Only for you.
Okay,
Let me explain.
thank you.
Each time the law changes and you have to change your criteria so that you're not discriminating, you need a revision date, last revised. And if you have a car form in front of you right now, a car lease, any rental agreement, look in the bottom right-hand corner and tell me
Yeah.
what day it was last revised.
Right, yeah, it says revised. Mhm.
Okay, you need to do that for your criteria so that you're changing that as the rules change, and keep a copy of what is there and each revision you do. Because in the event somebody pulls out a application that they screenshotted from 2 years ago, okay?
Yeah. Mhm.
And then they apply now and use that and say you discriminated, you can say this was last revised on this date. The new
Mhm.
one was revised on this date. They
Got it.
used something old. It
Okay,
saves your assets.
yeah.
Okay?
Perfect. Okay. So next time I revise it, I have never revised it because I just started it not long ago. But when I do revise it, then I will put exactly the verbiage like a car form.
Revised and the month and year.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Sometimes I even go as far as changing it to a full date, especially if the law changed on the 1st. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Okay, okay. CYAP. And for those of you that don't know what the P stands for, it stands for paper. Cover your asset with paper. Kill a tree, serve the notice. All right, anybody else?
Quick question, two quick questions. If you got a notice, from the bank just recently that a check that you had sent to a tenant was never cashed. It was like for $3 for, interest on RSO last year. Can I just hold that and just take it off, eventually on their security deposit?
Yes, if the check came, if they never cashed the check, you can call them, you can email them. I would email them so you have some kind of a record saying that you didn't cash this check. I'd be more than happy. Hang on. Are you guys still there? Somebody tried to call me. Sorry. I would
Yeah.
send a letter stating that I've received notification from the bank that you didn't cash the check that I sent you for your security deposit interest. Please let me know if you want me to reissue it. Otherwise, I'm just gonna put a credit on your rent ledger. Does that
And
work?
yeah, that'll work. And when we're done here, I texted you the holding deposit form because but I don't, there's a couple of blanks on there and I'm not exactly sure how to fill them. Okay.
No worries, not a problem.
Thank you. It's very
21 days to allocate is gonna be one of the questions you have.
well, there's a bunch of questions because
I got you. I will help you when we get off of here. No
Okay,
problem.
thanks. Okay. All right, so you'll call me or something?
I'm gonna call you before I even get out of the car. I realize you guys can't see me, but I'm still sitting in the car.
Oh, we can see you. We can see you though.
Yeah, you can see me, but not the background, but I'm still
Oh.
sitting in the car.
Okay, okay.
Stop. I mean, I'm just, I guess I could get out of the car if I wanted to. Oh, all right. Anybody have anything else?
Hi, Patty. I have a question.
I'm in the car.
I have a question about a revolving roommate situation with a security deposit where now both tenants are off. The original tenants that are on the agreement are not going to be living there. And so I have one remaining and then she's looking for a roommate. So when the first tenant moved out, we said the security deposit stays with the apartment. Is that
Absolutely.
That was 2019. And then now the remaining lady, we just remediated her unit with for mold PRC. She is now leaving. And the other roommate wants
Hold
to
on,
stay.
hold on. Wait. Patty sees a red flag. When was the mold remediation completed with PRC?
Last month.
Contact your insurance company. Tell them that you just met with your tax person. It's tax season, okay? Tell them that you want to upgrade your policy because your tax person is recommending that you protect your asset to the best of your ability. You want to make sure you have unlawful eviction coverage, loss of rent coverage, and anything else they can recommend to help you protect your asset.
Okay.
Don't mention what happened with PRC or the mold.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead with your question. Sorry, that was a big squirrel. Okay.
Yeah. So she was due for her 4% raise. So we gave her the rent increase. And now she thinks that she was singled out, but we said, no, this is everyone in the unit is getting that rent increase. So she said she can't afford it. She wants to move. And she gave 30 days and she wants her security deposit. And so I haven't responded to her letter she sent me. But the remaining roommate wants to stay and she will wait 3 months to find a roommate. If she doesn't find one in 3 months, then she will have to leave. So
security deposits are to be allocated when the property is vacated. Your remaining roommate decided to stay. So if you need to collect your security deposit from them, that is between the two of you.
That's what I thought. I wanted to double check. That's what I thought. Now when the original tenants are gone and we have the remaining tenant and then the new tenant coming in, do I do a new rental agreement since the original tenants? I added this one new lady with an addendum, basically saying, so-and-so is moving out on this date and so-and-so is replacing and moving in. And that's all I did. Was that right?
Yep.
So then when the new lady comes in, I just do another addendum or do I like that?
You sure can. You sure can.
Okay.
And then when everybody finally moves out,
Yes.
you're gonna have to put all these people's name on one check.
Okay. Got it. I'm not sure if they did a transaction, the first girl, if she, what they did.
The only way you don't have to refund the deposit to that person is if they gave you 30-day notice and said that they have no further interest in the property located at and gave you the full address. That is the only way you do not have to give them or name them in the security deposit refund.
Okay,
No
Yeah.
further interest in the property located at. Full
No.
address all the way to the zip code or it doesn't count.
okay. Great.
Patty?
Yes,
Thank you,
Hi.
Patty.
no
Um,
problem.
This is Marion, and this is a short question. I want to get your opinion. I realize you're not an attorney.
Marion.
Hi.
Wait a minute, Marion. You
Huh?
got a short question for a short girl? What's that about?
Well, I'm short too, so it goes both ways.
Hey, I'm 4 foot nothing. I win.
Here's
What
the
you
deal.
got?
I already have an attorney. They've been taking way too long. I still don't even have a court date. Started back in February. He had issued a 10-day notice for my tenant to perform. And obviously it goes over 10 days because the weekends are not included.
Correct.
And she had not performed what she should have performed.
Do you
So
know why you had to do a 10-day notice and not a 3-day notice?
I really don't know why he didn't explain. He said they don't do 3-day
Because you
notices.
have a default clause in your written contract that says that you have to give them 10 days instead of 3. Change that.
I don't have that in my contract though. I don't.
You don't have a contract and it says default as one of the paragraphs? Look for
Uh,
it. Look
okay.
for it. Okay?
Okay.
'Cause that
Okay.
might be the why.
Okay. Okay.
Okay? We usually see default paragraphs in commercial contracts. And a lot of times landlords pull that from wherever they get it from and they end up with a default clause in a residential contract. And that's why we have to issue more time, is because they've introduced that verbiage into their contract.
So it would say default. Okay. So
Correct.
can I eliminate that in the
In
existing?
a residential contract, more than likely. But you need to talk to your counsel first, and that's me protecting my asset.
Okay. So
Okay?
okay.
But that
So
would be the why behind it, just so you know.
I'm glad you told me because he didn't explain. He said, we're not
They
gonna do
never
it 3
do.
days.
They
Yeah.
never do. But that's why Patty's here.
Right. Thank you for sharing. I'm definitely
Nope.
gonna go through the contract. It's an old contract from over 10 years ago, so I don't know if it was applicable.
Bingo.
Yeah.
It's all making sense to me now.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So she did not perform. Once I'd gone over there and I'd taken my pictures, etc. And then he told me to report back to him to let me know if she did or didn't. She didn't. Then he says, well, do you want us to move forward with the UD? And I said, yes, that was weeks ago. So
What
he did
city is it in?
Los Angeles City. Rent control.
2 weeks
RFS.
before you got a case number, she filed an answer?
No, I don't think it was quite 2 weeks. I think it was a little over the 2 weeks, something like that, I believe.
Yeah, it takes about 2 weeks to get a case number, then the server. 2 to
Well,
3 weeks to get a case number.
okay.
I'm just, when did she file an answer?
I can't remember exactly right now because I had gone on vacation and I'd come back and I thought by the time I had gotten back after a week of vacation that it would have been done and I would have gotten a case number and a court date. But
Court's required to set a date for trial within 30 days.
within 30 days of what?
You requesting a trial date.
Oh, okay. Thank you for telling me that. I didn't know that either.
Patty's
So
a plethora of knowledge, sorry.
yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad. 30 days from the time that the request. Well, it hasn't happened, and yet this is what I'm up against. He said he sent the copy of the UD to the wrong HACLA office. Instead of sending it to the city of, the HACLA office downtown LA, he sent it to the county of LA. And he says, so now he has to start all over again with another 10-day, and then we have to wait that out. I wanted to get your opinion. Just because he sent it to the wrong HACLA office, does that mean we have to start all over with another 10-day, is what he's telling me, another 10-day, and then at the end of that 10-day, for me to go back over there to enter, she's already hollering and screaming that it is harassment, and is retaliatory, which is neither. Of course, we know that. I want to get your opinion. Do you think it's necessary for me to issue another UD, wait another 10 days, go back over there to see if she's complied, only to find out that she hasn't? What am I doing?
I'm gonna tell you something you're not gonna wanna hear.
Okay,
Yes, and I'll explain why,
okay.
okay?
Next
With the
time,
new,
Connections.
I'm sorry? Okay, with the new bureaucracy and BS in LA County, if you are not governed by LARSO, then you are governed by DCBA. And if you can dodge both of those bullets, you still don't dodge LAHD. In LA County, if you are going to terminate tenancy, those notices need to go to the proper authorities. If they're not submitted to them within 3 days of you serving the tenant, the whole case is bad.
Okay. All right.
So here becomes my question, and I'm not trying to be a jerk.
Okay.
How is he going to compensate you for the time and money you've lost?
He's only saying he's going to give me a discount of $200. I've already
Plus,
paid.
he's going to pay to have the notice reserved. Plus, he's going to pay to have the case refiled. And then he's going to give you a credit of $250?
No, just $250 for my inconvenience is how he said it. I've already given him 2,500. I've already given him what, 1,100, and I am no further ahead than I was when we first started this. As a matter of fact, I had
Time and money is worth more than $250, sir, with all due respect. And I didn't ask you who your counsel is. I don't want to know. And
Mhm.
even if it's my office, I'm
Mhm.
telling you that.
Yeah, because I've already stopped accepting rent. This is a sectionator, like I explained,
Oh,
and
ooh,
it's nothing
ooh.
but
Wait,
yeah.
what's the curable for?
She decided to modify and alter my entire unit without any permission.
And she's
Not,
on Section 8?
and she's on Section 8. What she got was some large settlement from suing Uber, and she decided, oh, I'm a rich bitch. I'm going to change everything, and I'm not going to ask the owner anything.
I got
So
you. I got
yeah,
you.
I'm just telling you like it is.
Hey,
And
let me tell you something. I rented to a loan officer once,
mhm,
and this loan officer didn't do mortgages, they did car loans.
mhm.
You know, that girl made over $400,000 a month?
Wow,
A month.
wow.
She worked for 4 dealerships. She had her
Mm,
kids processing loan apps at home.
wow.
Okay?
Hmm.
She remodeled one of my entire homes, put in new granite countertops, travertine flooring, crown molding. Oh,
Hmm.
this girl fixed this place up. And
Uh-huh.
when she was done, I said, "Thank you so much. Here's your 60-day notice. The owner wants to sell."
Wow,
I
wow.
allowed her to do all the modifications. She
Uh-huh.
was very happy while she lived there.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
But
this
then
one,
she wanted me to pay her. No.
no, exactly. And turn around and lied, and everybody that knows me, all tenants know if I,
Miriam,
uh-huh.
here's what I could tell you, and this is me talking out loud, okay?
Okay, all right.
Call another attorney,
Okay,
send them your lease contract, and
okay,
ask them how many days notice you need to give to cure or quit.
okay,
They
okay,
should answer those questions for you for no charge,
okay, okay.
okay? And then
Oh,
ask them how much they charge to serve the notice, just because it sounds like you're going to hire them. You know what I mean? But find out what's going on, because without
okay.
seeing that, I want to say my office would do a 30-day cure or quit, not a 3-day or not a 10-day. But I need to see the contract.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
and I have the contract right here and right in front of me.
I gotcha. I gotcha.
So I need to do that first, contact another attorney and ask them to send them the copy of the contract.
I
And
just start asking some questions to
yeah,
make sure you have, how do I say this? Put your ladder on the right building.
right. Right.
You know,
right.
when you're
Mhm.
climbing the ladder for success, you want to make sure that ladder's up against the right building.
Exactly. And I agree with you. And right now I'm not feeling too comfortable with him. He was
And
referred to me by another attorney, but I also had gone to your guys' attorney before, and I can't remember what they said, but
I
fast
got
evict,
you. I
they
got you.
didn't.
Just
Yeah, so
shop
I
around until you find the answer you want, is what I'm trying to say.
okay, and what I need to do is just ask them what is the length of time to because me going back and doing it all over again, the 10-day, which we've already surpassed, she answered, and her only defense, listen to this, you're gonna love it. Her only defense was I'm only harassing her and retaliating against her because she had to put in a new heater for me, which obviously that's not true. And then she's saying, and besides that, Miss Arsenault knows that she can get a lot more rent than she's getting from me, and that's why she's doing this to me. Not that she's done anything wrong, not that she's taken my ceiling fan lights and all my window coverings and she's painted and she's done taken grab bars and she's taken all these things off. Not that she put a big huge hole in my wall that is plaster wall and she had someone to come in there and put this 100-inch television on the wall, but you know that not
Sorry.
that she did those things. She didn't mention that, but I'm only because it's retaliation because her heater went out. I had to put a new heater in, but I had started this process before her heater had gone out. I had done my inspection in October. My husband got one.
Miriam,
Huh?
Miriam, you
Huh?
poked her in the eye by serving her an eviction. She's trying to poke back at you with anything she can think of because she
Okay.
knows she's wrong. Don't feed
Okay.
into it.
Okay. Okay. So don't feed into that crap about, the I can get more rent. She's right about that. I'm getting $1,000 less per month than what I should be getting. But but that's not what this is all about. It's the fact that she takes it up on herself every step of the way to act as though she owns my unit. Everything. I mean,
Of
every
course.
aspect. Yeah. Yeah. She has people coming over to check on this and check on that. And it's just too much. She has really become what I call one of the greatest nuisances of the town. And I need to get rid of her because what she did once she got that settlement from Uber, uh, she wanted everything new in her place. So the heater did not need to be replaced. It just needed to be fixed. But due to the fact that she tried not once, not twice, she wasn't happy until all of the gas companies said, the gas company rep said, just repair. She wasn't happy. She was going to go through 20 if she had to until she pounded in their head, oh, it needs to be replaced with a new one. So what could have been a $900 repair wound up being a $6,000 replacement. So I'm gonna do what you said. I'm gonna ask and
Yeah,
see what
I
I can
mean,
do.
it's time and money, the two most expensive things in the industry. So make sure you're putting your ladder against a good solid building. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. So you think it might be 30 days for her to cure and versus 10?
Section 8, potentially, yes.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. But I'd want to see the contracts.
Okay, I have it right here too, both my contract and also
What city is it
Hackler's.
in?
City of LA, Los Angeles
Oh,
City.
yeah. No, I'd want to see all of it. But yeah,
Okay.
you can
Okay.
always email it to FastEvict and ask them.
Okay, well, I would love to do that. So what do I need to do in order to send it to Fast Evict and ask? Just
Intake at
in,
fastevict.com.
okay,
Email the contract, ask them, how many days do I have to give for a curable and how much do you charge? And they're on Section 8. So make sure you make it known that they're on Section 8.
okay, okay, I'm gonna do that. Yes.
All
Okay,
right.
I'll do that tomorrow.
Patty, before you go, do you mind if I ask you a really quick question? Well, two. First question is, whose puppy is that? It's so cute.
This is my English bulldog. Her name is Blue, and
They're
she's,
so cute.
I don't know if you can see her. Oh, maybe
I
you can see her.
hear, yeah.
On my lap. You can hear her, I'm sure. She's a match.
She has
Her name is Blue.
Oh, it's so cute. Okay, really quick. I know you have to go.
Dye her. Can you see that?
Oh my
Oh, yeah.
gosh,
Oh,
she's
So she has Yeah, my daughter-in-law is a groomer and she does all kinds of stuff to my dog. At Christmas time, she put a string of Christmas lights around her and dyed her so it looked like she wrapped herself in Christmas lights.
She gave her a tramp stamp today.
Yeah, she did. This is my scratchy spot.
Patty, let me ask you really quick before you go. I totally forgot about this till right now. I have a tenant who I am about to start an eviction with. I already sent it to Fast Evict, and they're probably gonna, if they didn't serve her today, they're gonna be serving her tomorrow.
Okay.
So then she called me, like, she was trying to get, some help with one of these different, you know, company, I mean, organizations that are helping tenants. Well, anyways, she kept stringing me along. Yes, I'm gonna get this help, blah, blah, blah. She didn't get it. They denied her. And so finally I called her and said, hey, you owe $6,000. What's happening? I don't have the money. I didn't get the help and blah, blah, blah. So then I started the eviction. And she called me yesterday and she said that we use Appfolio, by the way. So everybody pays in Appfolio, they get the confirmation number, blah, blah, blah. So she called me yesterday and she said she wanted me to send her receipts because she was gonna go to another government agency who supposedly was gonna help her. And I said, I don't give receipts. Your ledger is on Appfolio. Those are your confirmation numbers. And so she said she wanted me to email her ledger. Do I have to do that?
She needs to know how much money she owes. Okay.
Yes,
Are these current months of rent that are within the last 12 months?
yes.
Serve her a 3-day. Let her take that to the agency that's going to help her.
Well, she's gonna get the 3-day. Either if she didn't get it today, she's gonna get it tomorrow.
She can't get it today. Rent's due today, delinquent tomorrow.
Oh, well, I mean, I started the eviction already.
Oh,
I
got
started
you. Got you.
something. Yeah.
Okay, so you started the eviction based on non-payment of rent, and now she's saying she wants ledgers and all this to get help?
Yes, but I don't think when she called me, she had not been served yet because she hadn't. I could tell in her
I'm
voice.
sorry. I'm sorry. I can't discuss this with you anymore. It's now in the hands of my attorney. You can
Okay.
call and talk to them.
Okay, okay, perfect. Okay, that's all I need to know. Thank you.
I mean, that's the easiest way that I would combat that.
Yeah, exactly, because she's calling me and saying, send me this, send me that, and I'm like, I already sent all of that to Fast Eviction. Like, I'm done.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be able to discuss this with you anymore. Please contact my legal counsel.
That's perfect.
Sometimes when they call, I get to answer the phone.
Hopefully you'll get,
Sometimes.
it'll be a treat for you. It'll be a nice treat for you if you get her.
Oh, I've had my fair share, let me tell you. Today I'm done. Stick a fork in me. You have no idea.
Maybe I do, believe me.
Remember, I work for a law firm that also does collections. So, and it's income tax refund time. Agreed? Agreed. So, if a tenant owes 20 grand, guess who goes in their bank account and takes that money out as soon as it hits their bank? If somebody took 20 grand out of your bank account, would you show up there pissed off?
Yeah, probably. I mean, unless I really.
Hi, welcome to my life.
Yeah, okay. You won.
I get your tenants when you're done with them.
Right, you win.
Yeah, it's not fun. Oh, all right. Anybody else have anything else? Otherwise, I'm going to get off of here. I'm still sitting in the car. I'm actually going to leave and go to my house.
Okay, I'd like to send you a short scenario in the email, and if you could respond. So what email can I use to send you a scenario?
To me or to Fast Evict?
To you?
Is it eviction related?
Yes, it is.
If you want to send it to Fast Evict, you can send it to pattyle@fastevict.com. If you want to send it to me, it just goes to widget@widgetsway.com. The problem with that is if you then tell me, well, I already emailed Patty, they look through my email and go, no, you didn't. Yes, you did, but you emailed Widget at Widget's Way and they can't see that. So
Okay.
if it's something you're gonna want to turn into eviction, email me at Fast Evict.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. Patty L at FastEvict. Okay, great.
The L's for loud.
Okay, great, fantastic. I'm
All
going
right, and
to,
then I see some texting, some people have sent some stuff in the chat, so let me get through that really quickly.
The L is
This
for
is about,
lovable, Patty.
for livable, okay.
Lovable.
Lovable?
Patty L.
My boss says it's because I'm loud, but I am, because when somebody starts getting frustrated, I always come in and try to take control and then calm the situation down. So I can be loud sometimes when I do that. So my boss says, "You're Patty L for loud."
Mhm.
Okay, resolving roommate, we discussed that. We talked about rubs. I'm in the unincorporated LA County under rent control DCBA from my area. They require a 10-day to perform or quit. Okay, so it may be your municipality's problem. I got you, Tony. So DCBA requires a 10-day cure or quit. That answers that question. But yes, your municipality, meaning your governing party, could require you to do something different. For Section 8, I know now it falls under the California CARES Act, and it's not a 3-day to pay rent or quit if they're on Section 8. It's a 30-day pay rent or quit
30
if
days.
they're on Section 8.
Or to
And
perform?
that's, no, I'm talking about pay rent or quit, subject to
Okay.
the CARES Act.
Okay,
And what somebody tried to call me again, sorry. What that does is it gives them a 30-day pay rent or quit. A 30-day pay rent or quit with no without counting weekends and holidays makes it become a 45-day pay rent or quit.
wow. That's crazy. And that's the
So
city of LA?
no, that's the state of California. It's the
Oh.
CARES Act. So anything Section 8, anything federally funded, and this is where everybody's going to go, what did you just say? And that's on the landlord side too. So if the owner has a Fannie Mae or a Freddie Mac loan on the property, then it's subject to the CARES Act and you can't use a 3-day, you have to use a 30-day pay rent or quit. Dead silence, meaning I just pissed off everybody. Sorry.
There's no mortgage on there at all. You don't have to worry about that then, right?
Bingo.
Yeah, no mortgage.
And if you went conventional, you don't have to worry about it. But in the event you're Freddie Mae, Fannie Mac, you are federally funded and you fall under the CARES Act and you can no longer use a 3-day, you must use a 30-day pay rent or quit. That does not count weekends and holidays.
Okay, good to know. Very good to know.
All right, anybody else? Otherwise, I'm gonna get out of the car, go see my dog.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, you guys. Everybody have a great night. If there's anything else you need, hunt me down. Arlene, I am going to call you in about 4 minutes.
Sounds good, Patty. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
All
Okay.
right, bye everybody.
Bye.
Patty, thank you.
Bye.
Bye, Blue.
All right, thank you, Patty. Bye-bye.
Bye.